back again. Sorry if I'm a little sniffly. The weather has been not so great, I think. I don't know if it's the residuals from the fog or what, but I don't know. It's been, or maybe it's like allergy season too. Yeah, a mix of both. I don't know. Just
That and
weird.
I don't go outside for work, so I'm less likely to get sick compared to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was outside. I was kind of outside today. Not nothing crazy. But yeah, so just bear with me, everyone, if I'm a little sniffly sounding. Um, But we got to talk some college basketball. Season now is officially done. I was kind of talking a lot on the men's side. Yeah, tournament's kind of boring, blah, blah, blah. But, I think the Final Four this year was one of the better ones in recent years, I would say. I mean, the level of competition obviously had the 4-1 seeds and kind of lived up to it. Good games for both. Matt, Florida pulls one out against Auburn, and then obviously the kind of Duke and Houston shocker there with Duke kind of choking the game away. But we'll get into the games first. So we'll start with that Florida and Auburn game, Matt. Kind of let you run through both of these Final Four games here. Give your take on it.
Yeah, well, this one was like the least spicy, I guess you could say, out of the two matchups because everybody wanted to see Cooper Flag in the Final Four against Houston. Like everybody was wanting to watch Duke in the Final Four. So this Auburn Florida game it's a great game by the way. 2-1 seeds like you said. Um but it lived up to its billing, I think. I picked Auburn, you picked Florida to actually win, so I guess you technically won the March Madness challenge
I
between
got
us
both.
cuz
I got both right, by the way. I'm just want to throw that out there. So
okay, Jay Billis, take it easy over there. You're the new Duke Vitale then.
yeah, maybe not. I don't watch enough college basketball. So
Oh, well, you did get it right, so I guess I have to give you props on that one.
like I said,
But
dude, the women's. I knew the women's better. I told you I knew the
okay,
women's
but low
better.
key, I would have picked something eerily similar to the women's. Like I feel like the women's is like everybody's gonna pick 4 or 5 teams,
That's true.
6 teams in a
But I
pool.
was I was ranked the 252nd thousandth uh score. I guess I got 93%, 1,600
That's
points,
good.
which is pretty good,
Did you
right?
have the fire
So
emoji next to your thing?
yeah, I did. Right. So that means
Oh, so
something,
then you
right?
did pretty good.
Yeah, I got the fire emoji. So
All
yeah.
right. Did you get that on the men's side?
Oh no, 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 no. My men's side was
Mine
well,
was
actually
down the
wait,
toilet.
actually I do have a fire, but my rank is like 4.5 million, so not
Oh,
as good.
what is your percentage though?
82.2.
Oh, that's a fire emoji, I guess. But wow, maybe practice run.
I just
Maybe
know hoops, bro.
I
I just
kid. You
know
know
college
what?
hoops, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even
you said
watch
the
it
late.
and I know it.
Yeah,
So
you said Florida's winning the national championship. You got UConn winning the women's. You're saying the Lakers are gonna win the NBA title. So yeah, we
I
should just listen to you. I guess you have the script, right?
maybe I'll be 3 for 3.
We'll see in a couple months. But okay, where were we? Florida, Auburn. This is actually a pretty good game. I thought Auburn was looking good in the first half, so I was like, yeah, Auburn Duke in the finals, I can be right for once. But the game kind of flipped, I think, kind of similar ways for really the three Final Four games, you could say. Um, Auburn gets out, they look good in the first half. Broome is attacking inside, and then it just seems like in the second half, like these teams kind of just hit a wall at some point. They go on a drought. Florida, they were tenacious on defense. I mean, they were getting their hands in passing lanes, getting steals. They were contesting shots at the rim. Kind of in a sense, a very impressive showing by Florida in that second half. because it's not easy to guard Auburn. They're very athletic. They can shoot. They have the size to dominate you inside. But credit to Florida. They had the bodies to answer that, and their team defense was outstanding. And then, as I always like to say, whether it's basketball, it can be any sport: basketball, football, baseball, soccer, um, hockey. In these championship games, in playoff runs, or if you want to be the best, you're going to need your best player to have a moment. Um, and for Florida, it was Walter Clayton Jr. He's been the guy, um, really for them this entire year, a first team All American, Naismith Award finalist. He's the guy. He's the head of the snake on the team, and we've seen now when he gets going and he's in a rhythm. I don't want to say Steph Curry esque, but it's some of the shots that he's hitting off the dribble, coming off of screens. It's like wow, like very looks heavily contested on television, but when he's got it going, he just sees nothing but the rim. Um, and really, he really closed out that game to put Auburn away because Auburn was still in it, hanging around, but big time players make big time plays in championship moments, and he made a number of those against Auburn. So that was the difference in the sense of that close game where Auburn just couldn't quite execute down the stretch. I thought, you know, who's going to answer for Auburn? To me, it's Janai Brum, another first team All American, Naismith Award finalist. Like, you need to go to your best players. And I thought Auburn just couldn't get him the ball in positions where he could be effective. And the times that he did, he was at the free throw line. He misses 2 free throws down the stretch. So that's, the difference between winning and losing in basketball in these high intensity games. So credit to Florida. They won on the defensive end. Walter Clayton made big shots at the end, and they moved on to face what everybody thought was going to be Duke. And to some degree, I am actually still shocked that we're talking now and they're not the champions, because I truthfully thought they had everything to win it. They had the experience with Proctor, a few grad transfers coming in, so they're obviously been in college basketball for a long time. They have the dynamic freshmen, the true talent of the team, the 3 potential lottery picks. One of them is going to be the first overall pick in Cooper Flag. They had the player of the year in Cooper Flag. So they really had everything. And they controlled this game. They really controlled the game up until that second half, midway through the second half at like 12 minutes, they go up 14. I'm thinking, oh, they got this. They're on cruise control. And then the drought came. I mean, Houston clamped them down. To their credit, I think Duke hit 1 field goal in their last 10 minutes, which is kind of crazy. And I think it was Cooper Flag hit a 3. Even then, they had a drought, couldn't score. And Cooper Flag hits a 3 late in the game with like 2.5 minutes left to go up 9. And I'm thinking, oh, that was a huge shot. Cooper Flag, big time player, makes big time plays. Like, he hit the shot. I thought that was it. And I was completely wrong, because I guess the one knock on Duke is if you get them in a close game, are they going to be able to finish in a 1 or 2 possession game to close it out? Because they've been blowing out every single team in this tournament. I think the closest game they played was against Arizona in the Sweet 16. But even to that one, I thought it was close, but it wasn't really close. But they handled it pretty well, honestly. They were breaking the press. They made their free throws. They have a guy in Con Canepo who shoots 92% from the line, who is basically automatic. So it's like they have everything they needed. And what I was shocked is Duke struggled to really handle the press from Houston and getting the ball in bounds. So I thought Sion James being the inbounder kind of, I guess, panicked, to some degree. Like, he's throwing the ball in, it's getting deflected. I'm like, you are kind of walking the tightrope here. I don't like any of these, 50-50 balls that are just not going your way at this point. And then one, I think, he threw it away, right? Like they get a turnover and then Houston gets a bucket, cuts it to one possession game. So that's like inexcusable, I think,
Yeah,
for a
that I
grad.
think that was the like they got the steal, they got one for the
Houston tries to shoot
three,
for three, they miss it, but then they get
missed,
the
but they got
offensive
the
rebound.
putback. The putback dunk was huge. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like, pressure. And I'm pretty sure Duke had a timeout. So if you're Sion James, you have to know you have a timeout in your back pocket. You don't have to go one Mississippi and then three. If you're at four Mississippi in your head, you should probably just call timeout if you don't have anything open. Like let set up a play. The worst thing you can do is turn the ball over in that situation with a timeout in your pocket. And that was just the wrong decision by an experienced player. And then even with that, they still had a chance to close it out because you had Tyrese Proctor at the free throw line, 1-1. You make two free throws here. You're up two possessions, I think. And you should be okay. You just need kind of one stop and you move on. But with college having this 1-1 rule, you miss the first one, you don't get the second one. So Proctor clanks it. And the thing that I didn't like about that, it's not because Proctor missed a free throw, obviously. That's a huge part, obviously, too. But I thought Duke actually broke the press well, and Proctor had the ball. But when they show the graphic, he's clearly the worst free throw shooter on the floor. And I get he's the most experienced. But once you break that press, if you're the worst free throw shooter on the floor, I'm sorry, like unless you're getting harassed, give that ball up to somebody that can shoot it better. And I don't remember who it was. It was either Cooper Flag or Knuppel, like on the opposite side, who was wide open, but instead Proctor holds on to it. It takes a couple seconds, but give it to Cooper Flag, who's shooting 84% from the line. Give it to Knuppel, who's shooting 92% from the line. You got to like your chances with those guys, no offense, versus Tyrese Proctor, who's shooting under 70%. And it's a 1-1. So it's not like he gets two shots. You can miss the first one and, at least make one, but you got to make both in
Mm-hmm.
this situation. So Proctor misses that. Kind of a, yeah, turn of events. The over and back one after he misses it wasn't a good call, but I don't think Duke fans should be, harping on that as the reason why they lost. Um, but you got to give credit to Houston. I mean, I think Jawan Robinson, he was like a 68% free throw shooter, 1-1 situation. He makes both of them when it counted. And that was the difference. And then you come back down, Duke's down by one. I'm thinking, okay, what do you think you're gonna do here? Kind of like Florida, like, well, you kind of need your best player to kind of bail you out sometimes. And this is the perfect time. I thought it was scripted, Cooper Flag. He's gonna hit the game-winning shot. I literally thought, I was like, hey, as much as I'm shocked that they're losing, maybe it's like destiny or something for Duke this year. Like Cooper Flag, he has his one shining moment. He's gonna hit the like a Christian Laettner ass shot, to send them to the championship. But I think he got a good shot off. Honestly, you got to live with that
That was a
shot.
good look.
Yeah, got to live with that shot. He just missed it. It's just it's how basketball goes. But still, just kind of shocked that Duke failed to close it out because I thought they had everything to win it, especially to handle the press because they have four guards on the floor at all times. And it's like that should be a huge advantage for you with Cooper Flag, in a sense, as a guard playing the four in college basketball. Like that should be easy for you. A lot of teams, you got maybe two, maybe three guards on the floor. Duke has four, and they have a center who's shooting pretty well at the free throw line in Malawatch, but he wasn't on the floor at the time. But they had everything, and they just couldn't close. So you got to give credit to Houston, I think, with their defense, making things hard for Duke, Kneppel, Flag, especially late in the game. But yeah, I was just the closing of that game bothered me with the inbound passes and the way they didn't handle the press. Um, but that was tough. But anyway, now it's Houston and Florida. Still a good game. But it was kind of the same eerie script, I guess, to some degree. From all these other games, Houston, I thought controlled the tempo of this game really for the entirety of the game. Florida likes to run and gun, but they had a couple fast breaks, but nothing too crazy. But I thought Houston, they were playing their game, playing kind of scrappy, ugly game. Nobody could make a freaking three for how long? I don't know. It was just an ugly shooting performance. Um, you know, Credit Will Richards for Florida, who really was the only guy that could make a shot from the outside in the first half
Hmm.
because, Walter Clayton, the star of the team, it's because of goose egg in the first half. But yet,
Mhm.
with that, they're only down 3 to Houston when I thought Houston controlled the game really the entire first half. Um, so I'm thinking, okay, if you're Florida, it wasn't pretty, but you kind of have to be liking where you are in this situation. Houston controls this game in the first half. You had Will Richards basically keep you in this game, which was huge, by the way. Um, but your star player has 0 points and you're only down 3. Like he's got to be due at some point to have a moment, have a spurt. So I think both sides you kind of had to like where you were. Like Houston, their defense was hellacious, tough. Um, but then they come out, they get a little lead with Crier kind of getting hot. They're up 12, and then it's kind of like the script was reversed from their Final Four game. Um, they go cold for an enormous amount of time, and then Florida comes back, led by, I think, Mr. Walter Clayton. It wasn't a pretty performance, but I think he had like 11 points to finish in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 11 points. But all his 11 points were huge. I mean, I like that he was getting to the basket. I like the adjustment Florida made, bringing him more off the ball. I thought in the first half, that's kind of his bread and butter. Come off the pick and roll, go to his left, shoot the three, or step back, shoot the three. Like that's a shot in a sense, going to his left. But Houston blitzed him, took it away, made him give the ball up, and made the other guys beat him. Nobody really did except Richards. Um, but I like the adjustment Florida did. They bring him off the ball, so give him a cleaner release. He was getting and ones. He can shoot the free throws. But obviously, the biggest shot he hit was his three to tie the game with like 2 minutes left. And I don't want to say they lose if he misses that shot, but that was just huge in the moment because Houston kind of starting to feel good, good defensively. So you don't want to get behind 2, 3 possessions. So for Walter Clayton to answer, kind of shoot that shot with really no hesitation to tie the game late, um, that's some good stuff right there. So um, with that, and then I think Houston kind of uncharacteristic for them down the end, but I'll let you chime in on this one. It's like I I don't
I
know what
mean,
what they were
when
doing on the
to be honest,
last possession.
when it comes down to the end of the game, Matt, right? Like you would expect for this Houston team with a lot of veterans, right? Like a lot of guys um that have been in crunch time moments. To me, I mean, obviously the last possession not ideal, but really down the stretch, out of timeouts. out of breaks. Like I'm watching their offense and like nothing's happening. Guys look lost. They look, unsure. And it was just odd to me because of, you know, the run that Houston had. Coach Sampson kind of, changing the program almost. Kind of take a look back at some of the old videos of him trying to get fans to come out to the game. So like the turnaround that Houston's had, and for it all kind of come down to really like late game execution, you could say, when like you
They
said,
thrived
Matt,
on that.
and like you said, it's an ugly game. It was an ugly game pretty much the whole way. Stingy defense by both sides. Really, the effort was there. You could feel that intensity of that championship level, play. And I just think a couple times where, they're like taking a while to get into their sets. Florida's countering, playing deny, like denying the ball. Um, so I mean, credit to Florida. Don't get me wrong, but just felt out of sorts. The execution just wasn't clean, and I think it all just kind of summed up on the last play, like you said, Matt. I don't want to say the X's and O's kind of favored Florida, but um, right, like I thought that double kind of pin down screen that they had for Clayton, right? That three, like you said, that was a big answer in that moment. So for them to drop stuff like that, and then on the flip side, Houston just forcing shots, like panicking. It felt panicked. It didn't feel like someone took over and said, "Okay, let's execute. Let's," um, just didn't feel like they had that person on the court to kind of calm things down and get them into their sets. Looked like a lot of looking around, just weird for that moment. And like I said, all kind of summed up on that last possession, right? Um, you know, Coming in off of a timeout, you're down two with 19 seconds to go, and bringing the ball up the court, like you know, when you're down the possession, right? You want to try to get a good look, and only down two, by the way. So you really only need two to tie. Um, Obviously, you want to attack early and try to get a bucket as soon as you can, essentially, because, or at least, sorry, I should say, get a shot up as soon as you can, right? Because then at least you can have the chance for an offensive rebound, or so if you can't get it, you can always foul, right, and play the foul game, hope for a miss, come down, still have a chance to tie. So obviously, you want some urgency, and I'm watching them bring the ball up the court. 19, 15 seconds left. Like I'm waiting for them to get into their offense, and they don't start to go till like 10 seconds left. I'm like, okay, well, I hope we got something good drawn up. And, like no one's getting open. It starts to get really panicky for Houston. Then they finally get sharp the ball. And I mean, even in that moment, shout out to, Clayton Jr. makes a heck of a defensive play on the closeout. But I mean, you got to get a shot off there. We can't be worried about getting blocked in that moment. Like you have, it just didn't feel like anyone from Houston wanted to take the last shot, or like, I just weird, just felt weird. Like to me, like someone has to up and be, take onus and, like even sharp at the end, you got to get a shot up. I'm sorry. Like that's
Yeah.
inexcusable, with the season on the line in the championship moment. Yeah, maybe you're look like you're getting blocked, but you got to get a shot up at least. We cannot. That to me, that was like that's a mental thing, right? Like if you're a real shooter, right? Like yeah, the closeout's coming, but hey, it's the season, the national championship on the line. Like I'm getting a shot up, even if it gets blocked. I'm like shooting it higher, maybe. Like even if the closeout affects you, right? Like you're gonna maybe try to shoot over it or force a shot up or something like that. But to like feel that closeout coming, um, And even if, you pull like a Luca where it's like, oh, and I'm gonna pass it at the last second, pass it then, or at least throw it off a teammate or throw it off a foot, something. We can't just drop the ball. You know what I mean? Like honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
it can't
yeah.
happen. And I mean, I don't know if Florida blew up the set or whatever, but
I
to
think they
me,
did.
just not having some kind of contingency plan to say, okay, if they blow it up, we gotta create someone get open and go get a bucket, or at least, like I said, get a shot up there. So just unfortunate, I think, for Houston, who has been so close. They've had appearances the last several years, and I mean, honestly, kind of heartbreaking to just not even get the shot up. It's
Yeah.
just such a brutal way for their season to end. I mean, congrats to Florida, but I mean, even as a basketball fan, right? You want to see at least the drama of the ball in the air. At least it's like, oh, that kind of moment. But like I said, got to give Florida a lot of props. They played really good defense down the stretch, and funny because we heard about Houston's conditioning, right? Oh, everyone can run like a sub 6 mile or whatever it was, but I mean, Florida matched their intensity. Um, so you got to give them props, and yeah,
Yeah.
little, just an anticlimactic ending to a really good game, I guess you could say. Really good Final
Yeah.
Four, but hey,
But
that's basketball
Florida, I mean,
sometimes.
shout out. I mean, I have to give credit to like a guy like Thomas Houck coming off the bench. I thought he had huge minutes in the second half. He had actually had a big spurt. He blocked Cryer 3-point shot, blocked the shot. They get a fast break, and then he finishes on the other end, gets an and one. Like that was kind of the start of the comeback for Florida, where it was like, oh yeah, they're right back in it now, with their defense. So you got to give credit to them. And then really, I mean, Walter Clayton Jr., star of the team. It's not easy to have a shooting night like he had, where it just seemed like he was out of rhythm. Houston was taking everything away from him. Even his passes weren't crisp sometimes. But sometimes it's really not how you start. It's how you finish. Um, and to his credit, when the team needed him to make a shot, he was there for them. And that's what we love about guys like, the superstars in the game, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordans. Like they're not going to be perfect every game. Uh, they're going to have ugly games. They're going to have nights where they just can't find it. But the great players always find ways to impact the game when it counts the most. And funny that Walter Clayton actually gets the defensive stop to end the game and help the Florida Gators win the national championship. So he's not just doing it, with his offensive game, he's contributing on the defensive side as well. So great to see the kid pull through after a tough, tough first half, just to help his team win anyway, how. So shout out to Walter Clayton for that effort. But I think it's great. Defense wins championships. I guess it's how it always is in sports. Offense is nice, but sometimes, when it's not going, you're going to need to play defense. And this Final Four tournament really showed that you need to play defense to win championships in this league in high intensity, high caliber basketball. So, hey, Lakers, take notes.
Well, I mean, they look pretty good against the Thunder, but yeah, Matt, I think UConn got a perfect lead. Defense still matters, and I mean, experience still matters in college basketball.
Yeah, Florida was very experienced.
So congrats to them. Congrats on the Gators. Uh, Great season for Houston. Just unfortunate. It's always got to be a winner and a loser. But hopefully we'll see them back again, and hopefully they'll get one. I think they deserve one in the next
They're like
coming years.
Gonzaga. They just
Hopefully,
can't, they just can't get the natty.
yeah. Hope I'm rooting for them. So hopefully they get one. They're at least one UH team can has a chance. So
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Well, really quick, Matt. Why don't we just transition to the women's side? Um, shout out the Huskies, man. Shout out Gino and the big three, I guess you could say, for UConn. Uh, wow. I mean, we kind of knew, right, about how good Paige is. Kind of knew about AZ Fudd. She was a top recruit, but I mean, Sarah Strong, what a tournament she had. Honestly, what a season she's had. And I mean, she's only a freshman, so I mean, she's gonna just I mean, talk about
Another 3 years.
passing the torch, right? As Paige goes, AZ Fudd is still gonna be there. Um, her game. I think she's decided to stay. I believe one more year. I don't think she declared quite yet, so I believe she will be returning. Um,
AZ Foot.
yeah, because I think she has the injury season. I think. Um,
Oh, I thought it
so
was her last year
yeah, I'm
because she
pretty
was same
sure.
class as Paige, or was she same class as Paige?
No, she's what do you
She
call?
older?
She's
One year
younger.
older.
She's a year younger than Paige. So I think she also had an ACL or something season ending.
Last year she got hurt, I think,
Yeah, she had a
for
season
the
ending
season.
injury, so she'll be back again with UConn next year. So I mean they're not going anywhere. Um so it'll be good. But like I said, yeah, the shout out to the Huskies, man. They got it done. Um Dominant fashion, really kind of throughout the tournament. I mean, if you kind of just take a look at their schedule, they kind of ran through everyone in the NCAA tournament. Us, took on USC, uh, albeit without Juju. So take that, with a grain of salt. But UCLA, we were talking about it last week. You're like, hey, UCLA is a good team. Can't count them out. Blew them out by 34.
Smacked him.
So yeah, that says something. And then South Carolina, they went and took down 3 1 seeds in a row, man. So gotta tip your cap. Made it look relatively easy too. Don Staley frustrated on the sideline. I mean, they got some players too. I think Papao is like a projected top 10 pick. Malaysia Fawili has been there. Good player for them. Chloe Kitts, kind of an all around player, but I mean, no one could do anything really for South Carolina. Um, just got a little bit of everything for UConn. Lots of scoring, lots of talent. I mean, they're pretty top heavy, I would say, but when you got those three, I mean, good luck, right?
Yeah.
So
And Paige, relatively quiet game on
relatively
her
quiet. I
standards.
mean, she still ends up with 17.
Yeah, she wasn't
Um,
as efficient as she normally was, though. I
but
was the
when
other two.
when when the other two are working like that, I mean, you really don't need a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like what a career though for Paige Beckers, ending it on top, with the championship going in. She's gonna be the number one pick, I would say, and yeah, it'll be it's good. Like I said last week, it's good for college basketball right now that the marquee players are going deep and having these tournament runs. And Paige was essentially, once Juju went down, she was kind of the star of the show on the women's side, right? So good for them, good for her. She's been through a lot with the injury stuff, and yeah, excited to see what she's gonna do. I think Dallas has the first pick in the WNBA draft. So her and one of my favorite players, Arike Ogunbowale, that backcourt, it's gonna be fun to watch because I already think like Arike is kind of like the closest thing you're gonna get to like Kyrie or like I would even say like an AI kind of. She like her game is really flashy, like a Lamelo kind of thing. Um, on the women's side. So pairing Paige up with her, that backcourt is just going to be really fun to watch. I think because Paige is just solid. Like you,
She
you
reminds me of
compared
Devin
her,
Booker.
yeah, you compared her to Book. I think that's a good comparison. Like her midi pull up is just it's pretty much automatic off a pick, but she's also just a winner. Like that's the thing about Paige. You can tell like she's gonna do everything that she can to win. You know, if it's not her night, she's willing to kind of ease up, let the hot hand take over. And that's the thing. Like, you can tell players like that or they just want to win. But she is a star. Don't get me wrong. I think she's gonna be really fun to watch at the next level, and I'm sure watching her and Caitlin's first game against each other is gonna be a lot of fun too. Um, so good for the game. Like I said, it's growing. Have these stars now kind of taking over and ushering in that next level. And then, next year we got Juju. I presumably Juju will be going number one overall
Well, she
next
got
year.
maybe
So
2 years if she
if
stays,
she
right?
should so choose, and it kind of seems like that's the trend now. Um,
She
I
make more
mean, when you
money.
can make more money in college with the
Yep.
NIL stuff, right? Like, why wouldn't you almost? And that's where the brands are, right? Like I said, another year to grow your brand in college, and kind of carry that to the next level. So we'll see. Maybe she won't be um declaring just yet next year, but I think Juju's going to be fine money wise either way. She gets a lot of sponsorships too, so she'll be okay. I think either way, whatever she decides to do. Um, but yeah, good for them. It was another great season for Dawn and the Gamecocks, but sometimes it's just you just run into a freight train like UConn and that's that. So uh
Well,
yeah,
UConn's always going to be good as long as, their head coach is there. I think kind of crazy. 12 national championships is ridiculous.
oh yeah,
He beat Wooden. He's more wins than John Wooden and Coach K and all these Pat Summit. You can name all these great college basketball coaches. It is Gino's world, I guess, in
and just
terms of
thinking of all the
winning.
players like he's produced too. I mean, just kind of ridiculous, right?
Tarasi, Moore,
Yeah,
Brianna,
the
and now
dynasties,
and now Paige.
yeah, now Page. So yeah,
How long do you
man,
think he's
he's
gonna
the man.
coach though?
I mean,
Like,
he could go as long as he wants, honestly. 5 more years if he wanted to, I would think, but who knows? As long as he still has that fire, I think, why not? So,
sounds like he does. I mean, as long as I think if he has like a Paige Becker's, well, it seems like now it's like the passing of the torch. Maybe Sarah Strong really takes that next level and takes that team has her own now. So
mhm.
if she can take that next level, yeah, I don't see why UConn won't be competing every year she's there. And then, in 2 years, go find another top recruit and start that transition period again and just keep that cycle going. So I think as long as Gino's there, they'll be competitive. But he is 70 something years old. So he's getting up there in age. That has to be considered.
Yeah. But I think he's still got a lot left in the tank, honestly. So, yeah. Anyway, Matt, why don't we move off college basketball now? It's over. Um, Probably won't talk about it again until the season starts later this year. So take a little break from college basketball, but we'll transition over to the NBA, where I mean Lakers, like I said, had a big stretch. Had a little hiccup, right? Not gonna lie, it was a little unfortunate that that Golden State game couldn't quite pull off, but can't really complain, right? After that kind of crazy Bulls game, the Josh Giddey shot. They go on to face, like I said, Memphis. They got Houston, Golden State, Pels, and the Thunder. So in that 5 game stretch, to be sitting at 4-1, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that any day. Um, Especially considering the standings now. I believe they're sitting at third now in the standings, outright third place too. By the way, I might add, which is huge. Denver is on a little bit of a skid right now, so that's helping out. a lot. I mean, 1.5 games feels like 3 or 4 games at this point in the season. So that's a huge one. But yeah, like I said, really good to see guys step up. Austin Reeves has been great. Guys are slowly starting to come back to form. I think that Rockets game more than anything was a huge game for them, Matt, because they didn't have it going right, but for them to be able to kind of have the defense to pull them back in, like I said, was huge. Unfortunately, the Golden State game I would have loved to have, but like I don't know, Steph went nuclear. Good to see though. Bron can still match him, but when Steph was hitting shots like that and couldn't get a stop down the stretch. Like it's kind of tough, right? Also, Draymond, dude's still annoying, but probably gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, I mean they had their chances. The Lakers had their chances, but just couldn't quite convert down the stretch when it matters. But they had the big game or yesterday, I should say, against the Thunder, and I mean, I was hoping they would split the series. So I'm already sitting pretty content right now. But for them to do it how they did it, like they blew them out with pretty much their whole team, right? Playing. I mean, Chet played, J-Dub played, Shea played, Dort, Hartenstein, Caruso was available. Like they had all their usual suspects ready and available in you know Oklahoma City, and for them to walk in there, have the game that they had, um, everyone contributing, Luca, Braun, Reeves, and then Doe had a huge game, 4 threes. Gabe had a huge game, 4 threes. Like that's what I think it's going to take. We're not going to shoot 55% from three every game, especially not against the Thunder. But I think you saw that when we can match the intensity or we can bring the intensity, right? Like this team can play and beat anyone. Like I've said that feels like for a month plus now, right? Like I've been saying that. And I think this stretch has
Barring
kind of,
health.
barring health, you're right, barring health. But I think this stretch has kind of solidified that belief and cemented by this last win against the Thunder. I mean, they go into their building, right? Granted, okay, maybe you can say, oh, they're not playing for anything. They got the 1 seed locked up, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, not like they want to let the Lakers win either, right? So for them, I thought it was huge. The defensive intensity was great. Uh, and it's going to come down to two things, I think. So one being the defense and the rebounding, the gang rebounding when we go small, right? That's kind of one. And two, it's hitting the open shots because I mean, we've seen it even in that Warriors game. A lot of open shots for guys, but we just couldn't quite knock them down. But when we can hit them, and we don't have to hit them at the clip that they hit it last night, but Dorian Finney-Smith can hit 2 or 3 open shots. Gabe can hit 2 or 3 threes. Those are kind of the two main guys I'm looking at, right, off the bench to contribute heavily. And then obviously, if Ruiz can help, that's also huge too. But yeah, I thought Luca's gonna get guys open and he's gonna make insane behind his head, whatever, behind the back. I don't know. He just finds a way, right? He finds a way to get guys open looks. So if we can knock down the open ones, like I feel really good about this team right now. That got another game tomorrow, so we'll see if they can close. Or I think the 2 seed is a little bit tough to get at the moment, but at least put some more distance between them and that 4 seed, whoever it may end up being, and look to clinch a playoff game sooner rather than later. That'd be huge, I think, for them. But I don't know, maybe I don't know. Houston doesn't look like they're gonna falter anytime soon. So I'm not gonna bank on that because they look really good. But I also think the Lakers look really good right now, and I'm feeling pretty good after that Thunder win yesterday. Like,
Okay, well, let's say they got what 4 games left to go. Thunder tomorrow. Let's say for the sake of argument, they do not win tomorrow and they split because honestly, if they win tomorrow, I mean, the Laker nation is just gonna be like, yeah, we're prime and proceeding to. I think you win tomorrow, you look pretty good. But for the sake of argument, say they don't win, they still control their own destiny to get the 3 seed regardless. But they have to, I think they have to win at least, I would say at least 2 out of 3, at least.
well,
If
you
you win,
got to figure they
obviously,
should beat Portland, but then they got two big games against Dallas, and you know that Dallas
Dallas
game
game
is going
is,
to be
yeah,
the marquee game because Luca Luca returns and AD's back, right? So that's going to be the marquee game. You know they're both going to bring their A games and kind of show it to the try to show it to the other franchise, right? So that's going to be the big one, and then Houston. So those are the two big games. They better beat Portland if there's a chance to clinch a 3 seed, and we play at Portland. Like there's no excuses. I'm sorry, we better win that game. Um, but yeah, tomorrow's iffy. It's a lot. We got a lot of guys questionable. I don't know who's gonna end up playing.
yeah, because it's back to back and they got to go Dallas. And Luca wants to be locked and loaded and rested for Dallas. So I don't know. Maybe are they going to really load manage tomorrow? And, it'll be very interesting.
And like I
But
said,
I think,
it's all about health. Like seeding is great, but let's make sure we're healthy, right?
at the
So
same time, they haven't clinched a playoff spot yet.
you're
So
right.
you
Yeah, that's
still
true as
kind of got
well.
to play. But I would thinking that Luca's return is on Wednesday. It's not like, oh, they play the Thunder and then Wednesday they play in Portland. Like it's maybe you can get away with, you know, oh, Luca, hurt a little bit. Let's give him a day off on that Wednesday game. But it's Dallas. I think he wants to win. I don't know. I would think the Lakers want to win that game for him as well. So it's going to be interesting. I would not be surprised if there's a guy or two that has a quote unquote injury tomorrow that doesn't play. But I think the one thing you can't do is if you do sit out guys, I think you still have to give it to OKC. Maybe you're not going to win, but it's not like don't let them beat you by 40 and just like, well, see, look at what we can do. Like that gives them confidence too. It's like, if they say Luca doesn't play for some reason or LeBron doesn't play, they load manage, but you're still taking them down to the wire, making them sweat a little bit. Um, that should give the Lakers confidence as well as put fear in the Thunder. Like, yeah, see, look, we're right there, and LeBron wasn't even playing, or Luca
Yeah,
wasn't even
I
playing.
think I saw some kind of stat too. Like the Thunder have, I mean, they've been outright the best team in the West during the regular season, but their record against top teams isn't so great. Like they kind of struggle against the big dogs of the West. So they're not, I don't think that untouchable, honestly. And that's why I said I'm not really scared of anyone in the West. I mean, other than Denver, who until you beat them in the playoffs, of course, it's going to be so poetic if we get matched up against them somehow. But
Lakers are gonna get the 3. Oh yes, we got best seeding ever, and watch Denver fall to the 6 seed.
the six, exactly.
Like,
And then the games begin. So that's going to be the true test map. But yeah, um, we'll see how tomorrow goes and the regular season ends. Looking forward to it, and then we can gear up for the playoffs because then, yeah, it's gonna get real fun. I think the West, honestly, even the East matchups. I think Detroit clinch. Going to see some new blood in the East as well. Dame's out, so what is the Bucks gonna look like? It'll be a fun. It's gonna be fun once the playoffs are locked, but especially in the West, I think Clippers are have been playing pretty good. Like Minnesota's heating up. Golden State, I'm getting a little nervous of because if Steph gets
oh, you
back,
should be worried about Golden State. I
Oh
think
yeah, I
everybody
mean,
should be worried about Golden
I think
State.
everyone also, yeah, I completely agree. But like, looking at basically 1 through 8, I mean, the Kings and the Mavs, I'm just not a believer right now. But you take any of those teams 1 through 8 right now, like it could be kind of a coin flip. I think 7 really, really strong teams. Memphis on a little bit of a skid right now, especially the whole Taylor Jenkins thing. Still trying to figure that whole thing out, but uh, yeah, the West, man, those first round matchups are going to be a bloodbath, I think. So it'll be real fun to watch in the West. Um, but yeah, on that note, though, let's get off of basketball. I think we covered enough basketball for today. And we'll get into some baseball now, Matt. Both of our teams, a little bit of a skid ish, right? Like after the good starts for both of our teams. Um, right now, the Dodgers have lost 2 in a row, so not great. I think the Yankees also have lost 2 in a row, so not great.
Yep.
Um, and I'm gonna say it as a spoiled Dodgers fan, right? But it's the beginning of April. I'm not gonna freak out. I will say I'm a little bit concerned just because I think there's 4 really good teams in the West now with the Padres, the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks. Um I'll touch on the Giants really fast. And the only reason, Matt, and I said it when he got hired, the only reason I was scared of the Giants potentially was because of Buster Posey. When he took that job as I think he's president of baseball ops or something like that, right? Like I was just like, oh man, here we go. Because if there's one guy that knows how to win and knows what winning baseball looks like, that's the dude. And I'm like, Buster, you could have just enjoyed your retirement, dude. Like, step away from the game. Go be with your family, enjoy life. Don't you don't need to get involved in the front office. But I mean, it's Buster Posey, right? Like he's good at he knows winning baseball. Adamas, huge pickup for that team, right? Like, and now the Dodgers or the Giants look like they're going to be back to their winning ways. So maybe it'll be a 3-way race again with Arizona kind of in the mix. But I'm just like, oh man. But competition's always good, right? So can't get complacent if you're the Dodgers. Um, lost 3 out of their last 4, and it's very early. I'm not overly concerned. Freddie's been out, right? Like, um, is what it is. A lot of the pitching troubles, I think, have come from guys like Glass now, who's bouncing back. Blake Snell always starts off pretty slow, honestly. Like he's kind of a slow starter guy, and then right around the All-Star break, he kind of just turns it on. Cy Young winner, so I'm not really concerned about him. Pitching, like I said, not really concerned about the bullpen. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Had a lot of good surprises. Ben Kasparius has been great for us. Jack Dreyer has been great. Kirby Yates for the most part been really good. So I'm not concerned about the bullpen really at all. Um, the one thing I'm a little bit concerned of, which is odd, is the defense has not been very good. I think you can obviously point to the guy that's been getting berated on Dodgers Twitter the most. Andy has not looked comfortable out there, especially in center field. I think the most egregious one was I think it was the third Phillies game where there's a line drive hit to center field, and he starts to his right, turns to his left, and as he turns to the left, the ball continues to go to his right. So I mean, completely spun around, and that's kind of encapsulated the first 12 games or so for Andy Pages, not swinging the bat very well either. So I don't know. I think he's kind of on that hot seat to get DFA'd. I mean, we need lefty hitting against lefties, but yeah, just not been so great. And then you follow that up with Miguel Rojas making uncharacteristic errors. Even Yoshi Yamamoto against that Phillies game had a weird one, like that ended up being a costly run. And then Mookie today, like whiffing on a ground ball to short.
Hey,
So
Chris Taylor got the out right after that.
yeah, you're right. Chris
Cover.
Taylor always solid, but yeah, just kind of unfortunate. It's been a lot of self-inflicted errors. Um, that's been kind of contributing to this losing streak and slow start, really. But but I will say that one thing that's come from being in bad situations that's a positive is this offense will not quit. Like I really feel that with this team, they're in every single game, all the way down until you get that final out. This team is still in it. Um, and that's a characteristic of a championship contender, I think. So for us to be displaying that this early into the season, right? Like we're never quitting. We don't take a single game. We don't take a single inning, single at bat for granted, a single pitch for granted, right? Every single pitch, we're competing. I think that's already great to see so early in the season. They're not we're down big. Okay, let's mail it in, concede this one on to the next, right? There's no quit in this team. Um, Different guys stepping up. So that is one thing I'm really excited for this team, at least so early into the season. So yeah, I'm not too worried. I think they'll get the ship righted, especially when Freddie comes back. I think that's going to be a huge boost to the offense, especially. So a lot of good things I've been seeing from guys. Michael Conforto's been a good surprise. Tommy Edmonds is a power hitter now. I guess that's cool. I mean, that a little bit surprising he carried that, but yeah, Shohei is gonna figure his stuff out. Dustin May looks great back from his injury. I think he's on his way to solidifying himself as that fifth starter, especially until Shohei comes back, and then I don't know, maybe we gotta go six man rotation, but um, I'm not concerned at all with this team. Like I think we'll be fine. Um, Guy's got to get going a little bit more. Like Muncie's been struggling, Kike's been struggling. That bottom of the lineup just needs to get on base. Um, Will Smith, he always dude does this every single year. I feel like starts off torching hot and then goes into this absolutely insane cold slump and then ends up hitting like 280 or something like that. But yeah, classic Will Smith start to the season so far. And yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good, but yeah, Paz is the one to look at. Is it potentially Haesung Kim? Is it potentially Outman? You
Yeah, the
know,
Korean boy. I forgot about
is
him.
it they moved I think Dalton Rushing, who's a catcher by trade, but I think they moved him get some outfield starts now. So that could mean something there. I don't know, but
Well, if Will Smith is your catcher for the next 10 years, I mean, you're gonna find somewhere to put this guy if he
yeah,
can hit.
but he might be a trade piece too. So we'll see.
That's true.
We've done a pretty good job recently of flipping our prospects for really really good players recently. So yeah, I trust in Andrew Friedman. Like, dude, hands off. You go do your thing because you're the man. So not concerned at all about that. But yeah, I'm okay, Matt. Well, why don't you
Yeah.
tell us
All
how you're
right.
feeling about your Yankees?
Um, I mean, six. They're technically in first as of today, but it's 10 games in. It's nothing to panic about. You're not going to win the division now, but you don't want to lose it at the same time early in the season. Uh, these last couple games, they lose to Detroit today. Probably their most sloppiest game of the year. Uh, the problems right now, obviously, it's starting pitching. Carlos Rodon, kind of the guy right now. The Max Fried has been okay. Like he hasn't had to have that Max Fried start yet. Just luckily that the first game that he pitches, they scored 20 runs in a game. So I mean, you kind of need to hold them under 20 runs. So he did fine there for that game. First start, second start in Pittsburgh was better. Um, I thought, but Pittsburgh at the time was scuffling. So yeah, like he was okay. Like it's not nothing to panic about. But Freed's okay. Who am I missing? Warren had a good start and then follows it up with a clunker. Unfortunately, Stroman, I already know what I'm getting with him, so it's just like a consistent like mid. It's just like the offense needs to hit that day because as long as he doesn't lose you the game, he's not gonna go win you the game. He's not gonna give you 6 innings, 1 run. Like it's gonna be like a 4 or 5 inning start, maybe 3 runs if we're lucky. Just kind of what he is at this point. Same thing with Will Warren. Same thing with Carlos Carrasco. Like that's just kind of the recipe for those 3 guys. But the guy that needs to step up is Carlos Rodon. Like you start opening day, pretty good start, but the last 2 starts have not been good. I mean, the walks have been killer for him. Um, Same thing today. He was pitching great, but he walks a couple guys, and then his first hit he gives up in the 4th inning is a 3-run homer because he walked 2 guys. So instead of having, a 1-0 lead for the Tigers, it's 3-0. So especially when you got a team that you're dealing, they're not hitting at the time, you can't walk them. Just walks, just probably it's more frustrating to me than seeing a guy hit a home run off a pitcher. Like I can live with a guy hitting a solo shot. Like these are MLB hitters. They're gonna hit. Um, but when you make it a 2-run homer off of a walk or a 3-run homer off of 2 walks, that's the part that it's like, man, it deflates you because as a team, as a guy on the field, if I'm playing defense behind Carlos Rodon and it's a solo home run and I come back in, it's like, hey, it's only one. Don't worry about it. We're, we're 1 swing away. We got Aaron Judge. We're 1 swing away. But 3-0, it's not like, well, yeah, we can come back, but there's still the, man, we gave them 2 runs in a sense. So the walks have been bad, but we need him to step up. No Garrett Cole. Luis Gil is down. Clark Schmidt is down. So I think Clark Schmidt's coming back next week, so that'll help the rotation. I assume Carrasco or Will Warren, one of those 2 guys will be the odd man out, I'm assuming. But we need those guys back big time. And like I said, at the trade deadline, where's Sandy Alcantara, Dylan Cease? Somebody go knock on their door, check up on them because we need a front end starter to assist Freed now. Because I can't trust Carlos Rodon. It's been 2.5, 2 years now, 3 years, 2 years, I think, going into 3. It's been a pretty, not great experience right now. So I can't just sit there and rely on him. I can't waste another year of Aaron Judge raking and we can't do anything around him because that's kind of another problem with this team right now. We're really boom or bust. Like we can score 20 runs, we can score 12 runs, great. But then we come back the next game and we can't hit for beans. Like we look terrible today. Granted, the weather was bad, but we look awful. And then the Pirates game, we lose in extra innings because we can't situationally hit with a ghost runner on. Like that is just drives me insane. Trent Grisham has been a bright spot. He's been Mr. Clutch, I think, so far. Had a game-tying single for us.
And he's been good for you guys.
Yeah, he's been great. And honestly, Dominguez has been hitting. Well, Bellinger has been the worst hitter right now out of the outfielders. So I'm just, Cody, you better turn it up, man. Because if Grisham keeps hitting like this, we got to find them at bats. And we can't DH a guy because Ben Rice is hitting. So you got to keep him in there. And then if the Martian is hitting, he's going to be in the lineup. So at this point, Aaron Boone, like you play whoever has the hot bat. I don't care who it is. If Bellinger needs to sit, then he needs to sit a little bit. But right now we need to play the hot bat. So if Grisham's hitting, hey, keep him in the lineup. I'm all for that. But situational hitting just drives me insane when we can't do it, especially with a ghost runner. Like runner on second, nobody out. You have to move the guy over to third at a worst case scenario. Um, and both times, I mean, they did move him over to third once, but Bellinger, it was a bad at bat because he swung at ball four, and then he did eventually move him over. But it's like, you're swinging at pitches way out of the strike zone. Like you should be on first base, not be walking back to the dugout. So yeah, I just need to see better situational hitting. Um, I'm not sold on Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza at third. Like Wade, I don't know. Like I always talk to Wade about this. Like he loves Peraza and he loves Cabrera. Like I can't. Like, I've seen it. They've been on this team how many years already? Like how many
Yeah,
times
they're
have they
not
had a
the
chance?
young rookie
Yeah, and it's like
anymore.
when Peraza was coming up, and I still think Cashman is a complete fool. Like, okay, you can have a shortstop competition between IKF, Volpe, and Peraza. It's like open competition. So I'm thinking, okay, whoever wins the shortstop competition, obviously it's okay. IKF coming off that year, probably not him, but okay, Volpe or Peraza, whoever wins the shortstop battle, get the other guy out of here. Like, you don't want to have that guy lingering over your shoulder, like, oh, he's gonna take my job. Like, put pressure on the younger guy that's starting. Like at the time, Peraza was a valuable asset. Like we could have traded him for a top-notch pitcher, but now it's like the value decreases. We're not going to get anything for him. He's out of minor league option, so we're like stuck with him on the bench. And I'm not saying he can't play a valuable role in this team, but we held on to him way too long. Cabrera is the same thing. Young cat. I think he has a role in this team because he can play all over the field. He can spot start. He can be a pinch runner in the playoffs, but can he be my everyday third baseman? No, I don't think so. And he hasn't shown that over the course of multiple seasons now to be an everyday player. Like I want top-notch play on the field at all times. So if there's an avenue to get Arenado, to get somebody else, I don't know, but it's not cutting it. I just need to see more defensively and more offensively out of the hot corner. Well, that's really, it comes down to that. Just limit the walks, hit with runners in scoring position, and you'll be fine. Like sometimes you just got to keep it simple, but the Yankees struggle to do that at times. But I mean, at least you'll be cheering for the Yankees this weekend. We play the Giants.
Yeah, please win.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But thank God we are not in the National League West. That's all I
Yeah,
can say.
man. Dude, it's a bloodbath right now. It's probably be like that the whole year too. Okay, whatever. Well, yeah, I mean, fairly short one. Oh, actually, sorry. Gotta get to one more MLB topic, Matt. Um, Vladdy staying in Toronto. 14 years, 500 mil,
No deferrals.
no deferrals. Now, I don't know. I think this has to be a culmination of honestly Toronto not being able to land any of the big boys. Like they've been in the market for going back to Shohei, right? Like, I mean, at one point we thought he was on a plane there. Not going to say, who reported that, but like unable to land
Shohei,
Shohei and all
Soto.
of kind of all Soto and the big marquee free agents we've heard. Oh, Toronto's a player. Toronto's a player. Toronto's a player. For whatever reason, can't land the big fish, right? So I think credit to Vladdy staying strong. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. One of the best hitting first basemen, if not the best in the league right now, right? So like he's a top 25 player, you could probably argue. But man, to get, I mean, what a deal for him. First of all, 14 years, 500 guaranteed. Yeah, that's a nice little bag right there. But yeah, I don't know, like just feels odd because he doesn't he isn't gonna provide a ton of speed. His defense is not bad, I think, but he's not. I think he's like a Gold Glove caliber, defensive player. Um, but I mean, the bat speaks for itself. Just you know, good for him for holding out for that contract. And I think Toronto just said, dude, we can't land anyone. And if we lose Vladdy too, we're screwed. So like we gotta at least be able to hold one of these guys. And then they
Yeah.
decided to do that and gave him the guaranteed contract and stuff. So
I
I
mean,
don't
they're
know.
looking okay to start the year, I would say. Well, except Scherzer got hurt, but I mean, Bichette playing in a contract year. He's another, I guess you could say, big name player for them. Yeah, they got decent guys, I think. I would say in the pitching rotation. Barrios is solid, but yeah, like doesn't have that factor. Like, oh, Shohei signed for 700 million. Oh, Juan
Mhm.
Soto signed for 760 million.
Yeah,
Like,
I
just
mean, they still got Springer, Santander's over there,
that's
right?
true. They got
Bo Bichette.
Santander.
They got some names. It's just not like a depth super, squad depth team or anything. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I don't
mean,
know. Good for Vladdy, but to me, a bit of an overpay.
I
Like
mean, he was rumored to be a Yankee target next year in free agency. So that, I mean, glad that that's out of the way at least, so we can just kind of pivot away from that. Murakami, you can go to obviously Kyle Tucker is going to be a free agent. I was saying we should have got him.
he's gonna be a
So,
he's gonna get a big, big, big,
well,
big
if he
contract.
keeps hitting like how he's
Yeah,
hitting right now, I mean, he might get 600 million. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll 700. Somebody will pay him. Actually, now he's kind of old. So maybe 600, 5 to 600 if
yeah.
he keeps hitting like
He's
this.
gonna get a bag though for sure. Um,
Yep. He can play left field for us. No problem with that.
okay. Well, that's pretty much all I got, Matt. Can wrap it here and just go into our quick hitters. So to kick us off again with our Jerry Jones award.
All right. Jerry Jones Award winner this week. It's actually going to be a Dodger. It's going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto. First time winner on this show. I think, as you may have seen, your team visited the White House since you guys are playing the Nationals, being the World Series champion, and more Yoshi because he just went viral for his just the way that he looked in the White House did not look like he was feeling one of the speakers, aka the president. Just I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny, just the memes that were out there. Like he just looks like he wants to
I mean,
do
I
some
don't blame him.
damage.
He's not even an American
Like
citizen. Like, what
yeah,
is he gonna do? Like,
but it's like
doesn't
oh
even speak that much English, right? So he's probably just standing
yeah.
there like, all right, is it done yet? Like,
But they had the meme with him and Altuve. They just had like the ultimate death stares when they were in the White House with President Trump.
yeah.
So yeah, just kind of a funny moment for Yoshi. I guess Shohei had to, even if he was dying inside, we don't know, but it's like he had to look happy because he had all the
That's just the kind of guy Shohei's
spotlight
gonna
on
be
him.
too, though. Like,
Yeah,
he's
it's like
just gonna,
wow, never in a million years would I imagine Shohei Ohtani and Donald Trump posing for a picture. Like
yeah,
kind of crazy. But
yeah. Well,
yeah, shout out Yoshi. You're the Jerry Jones Award winner this week for your facial expressions.
okay, well, it's not that bad, but um, yeah, my fan tribute, Matt, a little bit of a not really a sad one, but obviously with UConn winning, right? The Natty kind of going back a little bit here, but um, obviously, it's been 5 years now since the Kobe and Gigi accident, right? When we lost them, but Gigi obviously was a big fan of UConn, was kind of slated to head to UConn, and really, if you think about it, this would have been her freshman year at UConn. So would have been a great story, right? Like kind of send Paige off and let Gigi take the reins. And I said it at the time, Matt. It was so sad because I mean, obviously couldn't have foreseen the superstardom of Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Juju Watkins, but to me, it was going to be Gigi, like to really take the WNBA to that next level. Because then you have Kobe's daughter as like the marquee, quote unquote, potential face of the league, right? And she loved the game of basketball, and she would have been great too. I think she would have had game similar to Paige, similar to Juju probably at the rate she was going at. So really just um tragic all around there. But Paige did give them a shout out, so I also wanted to give them a shout out as well. Like especially Gigi, like just so sad. Because I really thought she was gonna be that next pioneer to boost the game to heights it's never seen before. So yeah, my fan tribute is gonna be Gigi, and her Huskies got the win for her. So um that's my little fan tribute for today.
All right. I guess that kind of ties into my sports fact because we're recording on April 7th. And I'm going to go back to 2014. On this day, the UConn men's team, led by Shabazz Napier, they beat the Kentucky Wildcats with the I think that was Julius Randle, Aaron Harrison, Andrew Harrison. The year
Mm,
before, they had Towns and went for the perfect season attempt, but this was the kind of the upstart of it. But Shabazz Napier and company beat them, but this was the second time a school has won the men's and women's championship in basketball in the same year. Because as we know, that year, 2014, that was Brianna Stewart's UConn Women's Huskies getting the national championship. So the UConn basketball program, they win it this year. Just kind of remind everybody that they're still the kings of college basketball, kings and queens of college basketball.
wow.
Shabazz Napier, man, that was a good team.
UConn legend right there, bro.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we can wrap it there then, Matt. Um, yeah, we'll be back next week, kind of rolling into the playoffs
NBA
ish. Yeah.
playoffs.
So, and then that's pretty much gonna carry us to the end of the season. So, coming up on the home stretch here for season four. Um, but yeah, we'll finish strong. Hopefully, we can get some basketball guests on, especially during the playoff time, and then we can talk some hoops. But yeah, until then, guys, appreciate it as usual. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. You know, um, and yeah, just stay safe. Have a good week, and we'll see you guys next week.